Thank you, and welcome to another edition of Fishmonger Stories. My name is George, but I go by the name Fishmonger Stories. Today, we are going to tell some African riddles to see if you are smarter than an average African child. But first things first, okay? Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the stories. Subscribe, like, share the stories, leave a comment. Are you ready for some riddles? This is the section where we want you to think like an African child. Riddle number one, just to test you to see if you're ready. Riddle number one, just trial. All right, I have 5 fingers, but I am not alive. Who am I? I have 5 fingers, but I'm not alive. Who am I? Testing. The answer is simple. Gloves. 5 fingers, but I'm not alive. Gloves. Testing. Testing. I have a beautiful house. Beautiful house. But my house does not have a door. Who am I? Beautiful house. But my house does not have a door. Who am I? Testing. The answer is an egg. I have a beautiful house, but my house does not have a door. Who am I? An egg. Testing. I'm still testing you. This is not the real deal. Are you ready for some riddles? Riddle number one. You can hear me, but you can't see me. Who am I? You can hear me, but you can't see me. Who am I? The answer is you can hear me, but you can't see me. Who am I? The answer is yes, the wind. Riddle number 2. This is the section we want you to think like an African child. Please, don't think like a European. Don't think like a North American. Think like an African child. I have a long, meandering house with many windows. Who am I? I have a long, meandering house with many windows. Who am I? I have a long, meandering house with many windows. Who am I? Think like an African child. Think like a fisherman. That's a clue. Think like a fisherman. I have a long, meandering house with many windows. Think like a fishmonger. Think like a fishmonger. A long house, meandering house with many windows. Yes, fishing net. Long, meandering house with many windows. Fishing net. Riddle number 3. I have 4 children. 4 children. But when one goes away, the rest cannot work. Who are my children? I have 4 children, but when one goes away, the rest cannot work. Who are my children? I have 4 children, but when one goes away, the rest cannot work. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Is it because I have 4 children, and when one goes away, the rest cannot work? I have 4 children. 4 children. when one goes away, the rest cannot work. Who are my children? Four children, yes. When one goes away, the rest cannot work. Clue, clue, yes. The answer could be a lot of things. Yes. The wheels on the car, yes, that is correct. I'll give you wheels on the car. What else? Four children, when one goes away, the rest cannot work. What else? Your chair, you're sitting on it. Yes, those four legs. Anything else? When one leg is broken, you can't sit on that chair. What about the place that you sleep on at night? Your bed. Yes, the bed has four legs. When one leg is broken, guess what? You are sleeping on the couch. Think like an African child. Riddle number 4. What is that fire that God lit up and it never goes away? What is the fire that God lit up and it never goes away? Easy peasy. Yes, I like the way you're thinking. You're starting to think like an African child. The fire that God lit up and never goes off. What is it? Think like an African child. Don't think like an Australian in this session. Yes, the sun. The fire that God lit up and never goes off. The sun. Riddle number 5. Two of us crossed the desert or a wilderness without talking to one another. Two of us crossed the desert or the wilderness without talking to one another. Who are we? Two of us crossed the desert or wilderness without talking to one another. One another. Who are we? Two of us crossed the desert or wilderness without talking to one another. Who are we? Think like an African child. Think like an Igbo. Think like a Fulani. Think like a Maasai. Think like a Borana. Think like a Banyankore. Think like a Bedouin who lives in Morocco. Thinks like a Bedouin who lives in Libya. Yes, crossing the desert. Think like the San people in the Kalahari Desert. Yes, two of us cross the desert or the wilderness without talking to each other. Who are we? The answer, 3, 2, 1. You are crossing the desert or the wilderness alone. Yes, it's just you and your shadow. Yes, you're doing it alone, my Bedouin man, my son, my Nkosa brother. You are crossing the desert or the wilderness alone with your shadow. Yes, and that's why you're not talking to each other. Or some people talk to their shadows. Iti Piti, the longest river in Africa. What is it? The longest river in Africa. What is it? I live in an island where the source of that river is. The source of the fishmonger stories, the longest river in Africa. Name it. Yes, River Nile, ladies and gentlemen. River Nile. Longest river in China? Yangtze, of course. I like the way you're thinking. These sessions are there to make you think out of the box. Think like an African child. Thank you very much for joining me and the Fishmonger Stories on another session of Fishmonger Story Riddles. Thank you. And God bless you. Remember, think like an African child. Are you smarter than an average African child?